A very good morning and welcome to the Early Edge. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's see how happy our Thursday was by looking at the recap screen. Before we bring in the stars of the show, we go 4 and 5. I'm 1 for 2. I hit the plus money play, but I lost the minus 130 play for golf. 1 for 2 there. Larry Hartstein hit his Jamal Murray play. Let's see. Sniper goes 1 for 2 with a plus money play, plus 120. Astros Rangers first 3. That was 0-0, as he said. I know a lot of you hit that one. SportsLine goes 1 for 2. All right. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this: 4 and 5 isn't super fun. Although we did have 10 and 3 earlier this week, 4 and 2. We had a 2 and 5, so it's been an up and down week. I do want to remind everybody to bet responsibly, have fun doing this. And speaking of fun, how about we move to BPE Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, guys, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. We got buckets. We got Amags. We got Brasco. We got Mackenzie Brooks, but we have no screaming. We have no towel throwing. We have no Chip Patterson. He came in here on Monday. He warned you he wasn't going to be here Friday. So I don't know. Hand up. Can anybody do the chip me up? Does anybody want to volunteer maybe to get this crowd going? Because people have expectations. Hey, Brasco pointed to you, Buckets. Brasco, he's pointing to you.
It's so hard with the reverse camera.
Instead of a chip me up, how about a Buckets bonanza? Go.
Oh, Buckets. All right, give me 1 second. Look at the throat sprayed up.
What? Yeah.
Get it.
Oh my God. What happens when you try to be Chip? Just can't do it.
Was that like whiteboard spray?
Go on.
Oh wow! So we thought we were gonna get a chip me up. Maybe later, Mackenzie. You can't do the chip me up, can you?
I mean, if you want me to, I was gonna vote Danny. I feel like he's got that in him.
Actually, Danny, you kind of do. You got anything for us?
I got you guys. And while I could never be Chip and imitate that chip me up, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna try to put that battery in your back this morning on a Friday. Man, Jeff Stenberg, if he's in the chat, huge shout out. He put in a darts play in the chat yesterday. A darts Luke Littler over 4.5 180s. Yeah. I'm not even sure what I bet on. All I know is that my bank account is slightly higher today. So thank you, Jeff. By the way, guys, a lot of you guys know I come in early in the chat, gave out cricket plays that start 10 a.m. every morning. The cricket season is being salvaged. It's back tomorrow. I will be back in the chat. The playoffs are fast approaching. Shout out to the IPL. They salvaged the season. Cricket universe, baby. We're back.
Wow. Okay, I was actually going to ask you about cricket. We got multiple fist pumps, including Mackenzie Brooks going full Tiger Woods there. Buckets, are you ready? You don't have to give him a chip me up, but are you just like ready to?
Yeah, I found the only bottle in my medicine cabinet that had a spray because I was going to do the funny clearing my throat bit. This stuff hurts. I don't know what this is.
It's probably for like plants or something. Are you sure that's fit for human consumption?
Not like whiteboard remover?
Yeah, it's literally to clean the stuff off the whiteboard.
It's called chloroseptic. So whatever chloroseptic is, I wouldn't recommend eating it. That's not fun.
Well, it's for sore throats. That's some old school. I check the expiration date on that thing. I haven't heard anybody say they took chloroseptic for like 20 years.
Oh my gosh, what year is it? Is it 25?
What a show!
How many years behind are you?
2021.
Oofa.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great. We'll have Chip next week. We got a chat that's wondering what the heck is going on here, and I guess we just got to get to some picks. Buckets, are you fit to give picks right now?
Yeah, my whole mouth is numb, but I'm going to do my best here, guys. And we're going to do 3 different plays, starting with the Norway Elite Serien in a matchup between the Vikings taking on Sandefjord Football. Now, Vikings, NFL team name. We all kind of know that one. Easy to bet on this one. We're taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 130. It's a little bit of juice, but when you have both the best defensive team in the top 10, best offensive team and worst defensive team playing like Viking is, you got to just bet on goals in this game. They have played 8 games this season and have scored 25 times while conceding 13. This is not a good defensive side because they don't need to be good defensively. They will score 2, 3, 4 goals, so they're fine conceding 1 or 2 here. I love the over. I love a lot of goals in this first fixture. Then we go to the Polish Ekstraklasa, where we have Slask Wrocław taking on your favorite team, Jagiellony Białystok, and we're taking Białystok over 1.5 team total at minus 140. Again, a little bit of juice here, and I understand that. but Bielstock should score 2 in the first half, which is plus 350 if you're feeling a little bit frisky on that one. You got to focus on the teams that need to win here. Bielstock is third on the table, which means if in their last 2 games they can hold on to this third place spot, they do grab a European qualifying spot, while Slask Vorklaw has nothing to play for at all. Then, for our third and final bet, we are going for an EPL English Premier League parlay. I'm looking at Aston Villa versus Tottenham and Chelsea versus Man United. Aston Villa and Chelsea both need to win this game. They are fighting for Champions Leagues. They have to make something happen, while Tottenham and Man United don't care about this game and are frankly distracted with other European competition fixtures. Aston Villa to score in the first half, parlayed with Chelsea to score in the first half, is plus 105. I absolutely adore this bet because, again, you are going to see rotated sides from their opponents, and you've got teams that are out for blood on the home sides.
There was a really funny comment that now I have to scroll up and find. By the way, everybody hit the like button if you could. Something about chloroseptic. Oh, here we go. It's from KC3. Oh, no, it's from James Murphy. I think chloroseptic just distracts you from your sore throat by being incredibly bad tasting. I think that's a great comment. Also not a sponsor, but we'll change our tune if you are.
What a weird sponsor that would be.
We're not opposed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not opposed. We're not opposed. Okay, so let's move forward because Amags, I know you got to get out. We may or may not have Michelle Yu here, by the way, to give out Preakness picks. If we don't, I'll give out the pick that I know she was going to give out in terms of her top 3 horses. I don't exactly know how she was going to bet it, but I'll give you that information regardless. Amags, I know you have to get out of here a little early. You're at a kind of a big conference. Talk to me about your play, and then after you give it, I'm going to put up the SportsLine home run chart and have you respond to that as well.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And as Jen in the chat said, yeah, I'm a little bit undercover here at jury duty. No, I'm not at jury duty, but that would be pretty funny if I was. We're still trying to make it work here. Yes, at a little bit of a conference, but I posted a play earlier today. Hopefully you already got it on the SportsLine website, but if you didn't, I really like the price on a 6th strikeout for Ranger Suarez here today. The first couple of starts for him had been against some tougher opponents. He had to face the D-backs. He had to face Cleveland, and he still struck out 5 and 6 batters. Now, the first start was rather terrible, but he still did have 6 strikeouts. And then the second start, he went 7 innings, only struck out 5. But still, it's the 5 and 6 strikeouts. Now you're going to be at 5.5 here today for plus money on the over in a pretty good matchup against one of the higher strikeout teams in the majors against left-handed pitchers. So I really just think at this price, you have to play it. It's probably like 30, even maybe 40 cents too short. I think that definitely the 6 strikeout should be favored here today. But I also took a look at that plus 200 as you get up from that 6 strikeout to the 7th strikeout. Plus 200 was also available on Bet Rivers, Canby Books. So the plus 100 and plus 200 were there. And again, it's really just the matchup, the number being kind of towards his lower, not towards the ceiling, it's towards the floor. And, beyond that, I'm not going to overthink it. I know we had one on Christopher Sanchez that he hooked us on, same team with the Phillies here, but today at plus 100, I think you have to at least take a shot on Ranger Suarez against the Pirates.
All right, we'll take even money on Ranger Suarez over 5.5 Ks. Ben, do we have the home run chart that we can put up? Because I know Amags is going to get out of here soon. And obviously, Mackenzie, later in the show, or maybe now, I don't know if you can respond to this with respect to these SportsLine model plays. Pete Alonso certainly showing some value here. Amags, Kyle Stowers, and Josh Naylor. Some pretty big value on Kyle, on Josh Naylor, and a little bit on Pete Alonso as well. Any of these 3 you like, Amags?
So just looking quick, none of those are in that Cubs game. And that one looks like it's going to be a huge boost with the wind and everything going on in Chicago to hitters. So if you want to take a home run play, maybe look at that game. But I will say the Pete Alonso against a lefty, we know how good that matchup's been for him time and time again. Rodon's been good, but in Yankee Stadium, I do think that Alonso there, 340 does seem pretty good for what we get to pay.
Mackenzie, I know these are a product of the SportsLine plays which you govern. Anything to add here with these 3 names?
Yeah, I'm big on Pete Alonso. I mean, he hasn't hit for a high average when he plays in Yankee Stadium, but he has 7 home runs in his 16 games played there. So I think that's where we start to find the value. I mean, getting plus 280, or excuse me, we would have set this up plus 280, shows some pretty high value there. As far as Josh Naylor, just another guy with some solid value here. If there's a good spot for him, it's probably going to be here. All of it, 5 of his home runs this season were against right-handed pitchers. So just another good matchup for him.
All right. Good stuff. It looks like we may have Michelle Yu as well. Michelle, how are you? Thanks for joining the show, by the way.
Oh, you're super welcome. I think I have to turn this direction. Yes, super happy to be here. I'm live right now at Pimlico as we get ready for Black Eyed Susan Day ahead of the Preakness Stakes tomorrow.
That's amazing. Well, I know we only have you for a few minutes, so if you don't mind, and by the way, Amags, if you need to bounce, feel free. But thank you for joining the show. Good luck at the conference. Michelle, do you mind? Because again, we only have you for a few minutes. Can you just go ahead and give out your picks right now?
Yeah, so I mean, the favorite of the race is going to be journalism, and I hate to be a favorites player, but I think that he is the most logical winner of this race. If he runs back to any of his other races, he is heads and shoulders above this field. But this is a tight turnaround for him. His trainer doesn't normally turn horses around this quickly with the 2-week layoff. So, I mean, it's not impossible he gets beat. I'm still going to use him on top, but I really like a horse named River Thames as well. He's coming off a 3rd place finish in his last outing, but he's been pointing to this race. So whereas a couple of these like Journalism and Sandman and American Promise ran in the Derby, River Thames bypassed it in order to run fresher in the Preakness. His trainer Todd Pletcher has won pretty much every race under the sun except for this one. So he's looking to add that to his resume. And I think for a long shot, Clever again, although he's probably going to get some play here, should be forwardly placed, and he looks like a horse to be able to run very well and deliver as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, Michelle, anything else to add? I think that pretty much covered it all, correct?
I mean, definitely it's super fun race. If you're looking for some long shots, there's also some other interesting stories. Heart of Honor comes in here. He actually comes via Nejad, and he's got a father-daughter team. The dad, Jamie Osborne's the trainer. His daughter, Safi's going to ride. And, she's never ridden over here in the States. This horse has been running over in the Middle East, and she was the first woman to win a race at Nejad. So it's a very cool story for them to get to come over here and do this together. Jamie doesn't run a lot of horses stateside, but he almost won our biggest race in the States, the Breeders' Cup Classic, a couple of years back. So it's not impossible for him. And I think he's going to take a lot of fancying. So if you're looking for a little bit of a longer shot, maybe look his way.
Well, we're always looking for a longer shot. Last question, Michelle. Where can we find your content leading up to the Preakness?
So we're going to be on the simulcast show, so you can watch us on there. If you guys are in Vegas, if you're watching on your ADW, on your phone, we're going to be there. Actually, we got the tent going right there. We're on the NBC set right here. We got jockeys all around. Flavian Pratt is standing right there. Hall of Famer Ramon Dominguez right here. So lots of people around, and we'll try to have as much content as we can today.
I mean, we're all kind of offended we didn't get the invite, but that's fine. Next time,
I got all these empty seats right here. You guys totally could have come.
Jeez. All right, well, we got the Belmont coming up, right? So we'll take the invite there. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely be sure to catch your content where you said it was, and of course on SportsLine as well. Again, thanks for joining the show. Wow, that was amazing. I didn't know we were gonna have that from the track. Mackenzie, your response.
I feel like I'm starstruck. She's awesome. That was so cool. I just learned so much too.
Also, her ability to just pop into a show and give out an amazing take and without any hesitation and just fly through it like that. That was Danny Brasco-esque. Was it not? I don't know.
No, I can't. That was pro's pro right there. She crushed that.
Yeah.
And also, I know nothing about the pony, so I feel like I'm locked and loaded now. That was live from the track. That was really cool.
I'm in on the family affair, and I already forget what the horse's name was, but I like the story. I like the long shot. I'm in on.
I want to show up at the Belmont. That's kind of in my backyard, right? Isn't the Belmont in Maryland? The Belmont Stakes?
Yes.
I think it is. I'm in DC right now. I'm showing up. We're both going to have a live feed next race. Mr. Big says, so cool with the live feed from Michelle Yu. All right. We got to get to so many more picks. We've got to get SportsLine picks, NBA picks. Let me tell you about a couple of BetMGM promos. BetMGM account holders will receive a WNBA odds boost token. To use that token, add a wager made up entirely of WNBA wagers to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager that was made with the token, you will receive extra winnings. BetMGM account holders will also receive a PGA Championship odds boost token. To use that odds boost token, make a PGA bet and activate the token. Score extra winnings if your bet wins only at BetMGM. Well, this is probably a good time to give out a WNBA pick since we have that WNBA promo. Let's go with Calvin Wetzel, who was excellent in this department. So was Mackenzie Brooks, by the way. We got the Sparks and the Valkyrie. That's the new squad. Under 162.5 at -110. Again, Sparks, Valkyrie, under 162.5, -110 from Calvin Wetzel. And Mackenzie Gore, over 6.5 Ks at -125. That is courtesy of the Sniper. We got to get to more picks. We'll do it right after this message from our partners. I got to catch up on the chat. There's so much going on in there. Mackenzie, if you don't mind, can you go next? Are we going to the NBA?
Yeah, we're going back to the association. I haven't posted much on Twitter recently, but as a side note, I'll talk more about it Monday as well. You know, my team with Steven and Jake, the SportsLine model team, I get a ton of questions on Twitter where you can find everything. We just started a live blog on CBS Sports website under their betting handles. So it'll literally just be all of me, Steven, and Jake's intrusive thoughts about any futures, MLB plays of the day, college baseball plays of the day, every NBA side total prop that comes out of our brains will all be in one spot. I'll put the link in the chat. So that's very exciting. So I'm just here to deliver the message of one prop that we like, which is Drew Holiday. Over 10.5 points. This opened at 9.5. We got it at 10.5 on the website. It's up to 11.5 at some places, which makes me feel like we're on the right side of it here. But you just have to think about it, you know, the math of it. You have 25 to 30 field goal attempts without Tatum that need to be redistributed, and with Porzingis, who's just really, you know, whatever's going on there. It's like, so without those two guys, you have all these other starters who need to inherit field goal attempts, minutes overall. So I think Drew Holiday is in for 40 minutes here at least. And when he plays that much, he certainly goes over this. He averages 11.1 points this season, which we learned from Buckets earlier today. So that helps us here. He had 14 last game on only 8 field goal attempts. So he's not putting up a ton of attempts because he's so busy playing defense on Brunson. But watching him be able to hit this with the low attempts makes me feel confident he can do it again. And on top of that, having more minutes, having more opportunity without guys like Porzingis or Tatum there.
All right, we're taking Holiday over 10.5 points. And by the way, Buckets, before you respond, it's so the Preakness, the one that's happening in a few days, that's the one in Baltimore. So that's the one where I actually should just like walk over to. The chat correcting me that the Belmont is actually in New York. So my bad on that. All right, Buckets, you seem to have something going on during that take.
I just feel inferior on the show. I didn't know what sport Michelle was talking about till the end of the take. I didn't know in basketball. It's a tough day for me. See, I ruined the chip me up. It's just, I don't know. It's just not there today.
He's off. We can't all be winners, Buckets.
I don't know if
that's
you ruined
true.
it. I wouldn't call it a ruin. I think it was a serendipitous happy accident. That was incredible.
I think the chat enjoyed it. I'm catching up on the chat right now. And by the way, it appears to be KC3, who was always in this chat. And it's great. Like, you don't always have to be in the chat, but it's always great when you are. I see Jen M in here. Of course, Jeff Stenberg. I'm going to leave out so many names, but Rick Funcan and Big Cheesy. Like, there's a lot of people that are always in this chat. Forgive me if I didn't say your name. It would take the entire show if I did. But KC3's daughter, it's her birthday. And with Chloe, I was going to ask for the name. Chloe's 4th birthday. Can we get a 4-leg parlay going for the weekend? That's interesting.
I like it. See, maybe each of us give from the sport we're betting on. You give a golf, Jens gives a basketball, Buckets gives a soccer, I'll give a UFC leg, and we get a cross-sport 4-legger for Chloe.
I love that.
That's a great idea.
What Chloe would want. When I was
right?
That's what I
put it on Twitter and deliberate a little bit.
So go ahead, Buckets.
I just have a question. It's going to take it off subject. So I'm all for the 4-leg parlay though.
Go.
Okay. For horse racing, is it not just the best horse wins every time? Like, is there not just like a genetically best horse that is the right bet? How does that work?
Well, so I'm not a horse racing expert, but they're all pretty genetically gifted, and it comes down to how well they run on certain tracks with certain lengths. Like, some races are not the same length as other races. So also their quote pole position or wherever they are on the track, like all of those things combine into the same way that it might in an actual like race, like a 100-meter dash. There's just different small factors, 100-meter versus 400-meter, different things like that. But I'm not the expert. Kenz, are you a big horse racing person?
Well, just also in the grand scheme though, Buckets, it is like pretty much a shot in the dark. Like, you can only, and that's not like thinking anything that other experts do because they know so much, but like you'll have guys who are like, 10-1 to win the Derby, like constantly, or things like that. So like long shots do win. It's like a 2-minute race, right?
Okay.
But like
some of them, but a lot of them are shorter.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give out my leg of the 4-game parlay for Chloe's 4th birthday. I'm going to go with, so this is interesting because Big Cheesy was all over Harris English. I was pretty big on Harris English on the early wedge. I've been talking about how I think he's a sneaky play. He played really well yesterday. He was just bad with the putter. Everything else was great with him, and normally he's pretty good with the putter. I'm taking Harris English -110 over Michael Kim. I'll point out that Big Cheesy, by the way, happy birthday, Dustin Wiles as well. Big Cheesy likes Harris English over Thomas Dietrich. I like that too. The reason I didn't give that one out is because it was minus 130. There's also a Harris English 3-ball. If you don't have this bet available to you, because these 3-ball matchups are only available on DK, you can take the 3-ball with Harris English over Thomas Dietrich and Michael Kim at plus 165. But my official play right now is Harris English minus 110 over Michael Kim. And it's just because like Michael Kim was okay yesterday, but metrics wise, I didn't like him coming into this tournament quite as much, even though he graded out okay, but I personally didn't like him quite as much. And I thought his day yesterday was good, but I thought Harris English was way more promising with the metrics that I saw from him. So I like the minus 110 number here. You'll find Michael Kim at minus 115. So he's a small favorite, but I think that should be reversed. I would take Harris English here probably at minus 120. So that's my round 2 head-to-head. I think it goes off in a couple of hours here around 1 o'clock. All right, Danny, that's my leg of the 4-game parlay. You got to give out all your legs and then give out the leg you like for Chloe.
All right, so let's kick it off. This is not Chloe's leg, but by the way, before I go in, I have just a few thoughts that I wanted to share. Number one, Ken's was talking about her show with Steven. She said it's going to be all her intrusive thoughts. I think that should be the name of the show, Intrusive Thoughts with Ken's Brooks. Like, that's amazing right there. So there's your branding. And someone asked me in the chat when I said "ufa" before, when Bucket sprayed himself with chloroseptic, am I Italian or Greek? One of my superpowers is being ethnically ambiguous, but I'm Greek and I lived in Italy for a couple of years and speak some Italian. So that's how I shift around. All right, there you go, chat question. Someone else in the chat said the chat is undefeated, and that's how I feel today. Just incredible in the chat. I'm always involved. Let's go to the octagon, guys, and let's kick it off with some plus money in the prelims. At plus 165, I'm betting on Denise Gomes to get her opponent out of there by knockout or by submission. This is a great number, and she has the perfect fight style, I think, to get this one done. She takes on Elise Reed, who's 8-4, and all 4 of her losses in the UFC have come by stoppage. Denise Gomes is a minus 600 favorite in this spot. You rarely see that for women's MMA. That's a massive, massive favorite, right? And a lot of the time, these fights are favored to go the distance. But Gomes, you can get the price tag all the way to plus money if the implication of her minus 600 is dominating the fight and her opponent has lost all 4 of her UFC losses by finish, then Gomes is getting her out of there. She's got this nasty, dirty boxing style. She's going to bring the fight to her right away. She's really dirty in the clinch. She'll just always keep throwing, even from kind of awkward positions. And her opponent is this karate-style striker that kind of point fights, right? I don't think she's going to get any of her respect. Reed doesn't have power to keep Gomes out of her face. And if Gomes is marching forward, getting into the clinch, getting that dirty boxing off, I think she puts her away, either by knockout or submission. So take Gomes inside the distance. Don't lay that minus 600. Get a plus 165. Okay, next up, I'm going with more plus money. I don't think this guy deserves to be the underdog in this matchup. I'm going with Super Sadiq Youssef, who has way more experience than his opponent, Myron Santos. Youssef has been in there with top 5 featherweight Arnold Allen. He was in a 5-round back-and-forth affair with Edson Barboza, widely considered as one of the best kickboxers in UFC history. Both of them were hurt bad in that fight, and he went the full 5 rounds. And he has a win over Alex Caceres, really, really high-level featherweight. So now he takes on Santos, who won his UFC debut, but not one person on planet Earth believes that he won that fight. He was taken down 3 times by a kind of fringe-level UFC fighter. He struggled to work back to his feet. And although Santos is a clearly gifted kickboxer, he throws heavy low kicks, he's strong, he's got good pop in his shots, he just doesn't have good wrestling defense. And if he spends time on his back against a very athletic and well-rounded fighter in Youssef, I don't see how he wins this fight. I don't think he should be the favorite coming off a win where he was gifted that one by the judges. So maybe a little correction to the universe, right? Super Sadiq coming off a loss to Diego Lopez, who just fought Volkanovski for the title. This is a big step down. Give me Youssef at plus money. And finally, let's go with a little 2-legger. These kind of chalky 2-leggers have been working. Sometimes you put 2 together and you're like, I got minus 133. It's not that attractive. But what is attractive is green check marks. So I'm going to pair together 2 fighters that I absolutely think will get the job done. Give me Tisha Pennington on the money line and Nursultan Ruziboev. I did see 0 favors with that second guy. But I just don't see how either of these fighters lose. Tisha Pennington, the Tiny Tornado is her nickname, and she lives up to that moniker. She absolutely fights like it. Heavy volume, heavy forward pressure. She's going to keep that pressure boxing in the face of her opponent, Luana Pinheiro, who's on a losing streak and just has not been enough to snub against high-level opponents. She's not going to hang with Pennington if she's getting that boxing off in her face. And I'm pairing her with Nursultan Ruziboev, this big, tall, middleweight, rangy guy. He's got 20 pro wins by submission. The guy is only 31 years old, and he's 35-9-2. He has tremendous experience. His opponent, I think, is just another stepping stone on his way up. Ruziboev's only loss so far in the UFC is to Joaquin Buckley, who's a hopeful title challenger right now. So again, big step down in competition. I think they absolutely get it done. And we could use either of those guys in the 4-legger for Chloe, for KC3's daughter. Maybe I'll go with Ruziboev for my leg, but that's a 2-legger, minus 133. I think we take that one to the bank. See ya.
All right. Stephen Cook says, auto tail anything that comes out of Danny's mouth. I mentioned the 10-3 recap screen on Monday. 4 of those picks were yours, Danny. Without you, we still had a winning day, 5-3, but you dominated. And I know you take a lot of plus money plays. So you're not always fishing just for the check mark, but long term, you're fishing for the value, and that's exactly what everybody's getting from you. So really good stuff coming from you. We've got good stuff from Chris Kish in the chat, who has some Formula One bets you might want to check out. Gipper's Picks, who's Danny's partner on these special UFC shows. He has some picks as well. Buckets, anything soccer related in the chat for you to address?
I want to do my parlay piece for Chloe's 4th birthday there. In that Aston Villa versus Tottenham match, Tottenham has already said they're going to heavily rotate because of their European final. I think Aston Villa might score 3, 4, or maybe even 5 goals here. If that is going to happen, at least one of them is going to come from Ollie Watkins. So my leg is Ollie Watkins anytime goal scorer. It's minus 130 on DK.
Interesting. Mackenzie Brooks, what's the is it Holiday over 10.5 points?
No, I'll go to game 7 here for the Nuggets OKC that we're going to be having now. Nothing screams little girl's 4th birthday like Chet Holmgren over 14.5 points. I mean, like that's what I wanted when I was 4. I assume Chloe does too. The situation here is it's about minutes. Now, his average at home is lower, his points average, because they were blowing out teams in the regular season at home. So he didn't even play that much. But when he plays 30 plus minutes, he's 12-1 to this number in the season. And he doesn't play 30 plus minutes often, but in a game 7 to advance in the NBA playoffs, sue me to believe we're going to get 30 plus minutes out of Chet here. So love the 12-1 trend there. And we're really just looking for minutes.
I have a follow-up there on the Knicks game tonight. Mackenzie, do you have thoughts here? Because I know on SportsLine, and I was going, Danny, I'll get your thoughts too. I was going to give out, or I think Ben was probably going to give out Knicks money line, but that line moves so much. I think the SportsLine crew caught it at minus 128, then minus 133. Now it's like minus 140, minus 145. You better believe, by the way, Brasco's getting his New York Knicks starter jacket. Mackenzie, any thoughts on the Knicks here laying 2.5?
We lean Boston, and I did. What was it, Monday that they played, or what was the last time they played?
Yeah, 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, and my logic there was, they are worse without Tatum. Sure, they're not that much worse. Like if you look statistically at trends and things like that and point differential. So I wasn't. Also, you have inspired ball there, so I like Boston plus the 2.5. If you don't want to take that, you could take Boston team total over. I think it's 103.5. If you just think you're getting yourself in a shootout here. Towards the end of the series. So I still believe in this Boston team, and I'm not as panicked about Tatum not being there as most.
Starter jacket, Brasco. I want to get your response, and I want to get your response to Jeff Stenberg's question. What do you think of Gilbert Burns to win by finish at 10-1?
I'll do that one first. Man, 10-1 odds is kind of ridiculous. At Burnsy, former title challenger. Guy's amazing. One of the best jiu-jitsu artists in the game, but he's a huge underdog for a reason. He's fighting a stud up-and-coming prospect, and Michael Morales, kid's 17-0, and I think he's probably going to put damage on Burns. But, if you want to take a small shot, the odds are absurd. If Burns gets him on the ground, he can do his thing. So I don't mind it. And, yeah, the starter jacket is on, baby. Look, Sia. The game 5 loss was you kind of expected, like addition by subtraction. You lose your star player, your back's against the wall, you're at home, the rallying cry, team ball, they move it around a lot more. Derek White shoots 91 from 3, like the guy can't miss. It's not going down like that anymore. They're back in the Garden. Cat's going to play a lot stronger. Brunson's not fouling out, picking up 5 fouls in the third. What are the refs whistle? Like they forced this game 6. So I think now the Knicks are, they can close it out here. But if they don't, I'm going to be horrified for a 7. Absolutely horrified. But this is us right here, Knicks Nation. And when they enter the Eastern Conference Finals and beat the Pacers, the city might burn.
It's going to be a great match if that's what happens. Very old school. Kenz, I know you need to jump out of here. Let's get to the recap screen before we get everybody else out of here. I've got Harris English today minus 110 over Michael Kim. Again, I don't mind the Harris English 3 ball, which apparently I got some closing line value there. I thought the plus 165 was still available for the 3 ball. Maybe it's down to plus 160 or something like that. But yeah, I do like the 3 ball, but I'm going to isolate Michael Kim. If you want to isolate Thomas Dietrich like Big Cheesy did and lay the minus 130, I don't mind that at all. You could, honestly, you could play them both. Oh boy, here we go. Soccer plays from buckets. We go Viking FK versus Sanjaford. Both teams to score plus the over 2.5 goals at minus 130. Then we've got Slost Wroclaw versus, here we go, I don't even know what to do with this, Jagiellonia Białystok. I mean, I'm not even going to finish this one. Buckets, do the soccer plays.
Yeah, I can do that for you. See ya. Viking versus Sandefjord. Both teams are scoring over 2.5. Slost Wroclaw versus Jagiellonian Białystok. Białystok team total over 1.5 team total. And Aston Villa to score in the first half, plus Chelsea to score in the first half.
We should have led with the first one, and then maybe I would have just rolled into the second and third. Ranger Suarez over 5.5 Ks at even money from Amags. And then we've got Michelle Yu's picks. Top 3, journalism, River, did she say River Thames? Clever again, that's her top 3. Journalism, River, and Clever again. And she also, if you listen to her live when she ducked in here, she also had some long shot plays as well. Drew Holiday over 10.5 points at -128. And then we've got Danny Brasco, Denise Gomes by KO submission plus 165, Sadiq Yusuf money line plus 115, and a 2-leg money line parlay. I guess this is Pennington money line plus Ruzabov money line minus 133. Y'all are killing me with these names. WNBA, Sparks Valkyrie. I know how to pronounce that. Under 162.5 at -110. That's from Calvin Wetzel. And Mackenzie Gore over 6.5 Ks minus 125. That is courtesy of the Sniper. Wow, what a great show. We had 5, then we had 6, now we have 3. I mean, just a lot of moving parts here, but you know who handles that really well? Ben Wittenstein handling that very, very well on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. So a big thank you to him. A big thank you to all of you that stuck with us for over 30 minutes in the chat. Really appreciate it. Mr. Big Cheesy, Joseph Akers, Folkerts, Joe Neuenfeld, so many of you in here. Really appreciate you hitting the like button, reviewing the podcast, and all of those things. We'll be on CBS Sports Network at 1 o'clock talking PGA Championship. We're doing a round recap on this channel, probably around 8:30 tonight, looking ahead to some live bets for the PGA Championship. Otherwise, we'll see you at 10 o'clock on Monday. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, bet responsibly. Have fun with this. And I guess I got to say it because Brasco put his starter jacket on. Go Knicks.
Yes.
We rest our case.